Description: she earned the title, the most scandalous woman in America. Moral crusaders declared war on her, and even the U.S. Congress tried to rein her in. But Mae West spent her life doing one thing: freeing Americans from suffocating moral prejudice. Mae West went down in history as a woman whose reputation was both dazzling and provocative. She was dubbed the most indecent lady in America. Moralists publicly condemned her, and accusations against her even reached the floor of Congress. But throughout her life, everything she did was, in essence, a battle. A battle to liberate Americans from excessive moralizing, from hypocrisy, and from false modesty. The most surprising thing about her was that she didn't fit the beauty standards of her time. Standing just 5'1" with an average build, Mae somehow managed to appear tall and irresistibly seductive. That illusion was created through her stage persona: crafted movement, stylized makeup, carefully chosen costumes, and of course, a signature way of moving. She often compared herself to the Venus de Milo, insisting that her body perfectly matched the classical ideal. Only, unlike the marble statue, she had arms and knew exactly how to use them. Even her physical features, which many might have considered disadvantages, quickly became her greatest assets. Her famously full bust, measuring over 50 inches, captivated men on both sides of the Atlantic. During World War II, British pilots even named their inflatable life vests after her. That's how the term Mae Wests was born. But it wasn't just her curves that made her unforgettable. Her movements were graceful, choreographed, and purposefully sensual. Critics often compared her to a dancer. Beside her, even the best striptease performers looked clumsy. Her voice was just as crucial to her image: deep, sultry, and loaded with innuendo. Even the most innocent phrases sounded scandalous when spoken in that slow, breathy tone. That signature voice once caused a national uproar, after she played the role of Eve in a biblical radio drama. A simple line about tasting the apple triggered a wave of outrage from church leaders across the country. Soon, a new figure entered Mae West's life: James Timoney. A wealthy, mature 38-year-old lawyer, he fell hopelessly in love with her. He showered her with money, jewelry, and attention. Unlike her first husband, Timoney was far more far-sighted. Their romance quickly evolved into a business partnership. This arrangement gave Mae both emotional stability and financial independence for years to come. Their relationship was not just passionate, it was strategically thought out. In 1921, Mae began a fiery affair with Jack Dempsey, the reigning world heavyweight boxing champion. He was 26, she was 28. The romance was so intense that, according to stories, Timoney had to physically take Mae out of town to help her regain control. In 1926, Mae West entered a new phase: her Broadway career. That year, the Schubert brothers, prominent producers, decided to cast her in one of their shows. But it quickly became clear that Mae didn't fit into the mold of the typical Broadway heroine. The roles of modest, demure, well-mannered women didn't just bore her, they clashed with her very nature. She refused to confine herself to the narrow limits of hypocrisy. Unable to find any existing plays that suited her, she decided to write her own. Her first play was the story of a sailor's doomed love affair with a girl. She gave it a deliberately provocative title: Sex. At the end of the 1920s, the word itself was considered shocking. It had only a clinical meaning, and using it in any other context was seen as obscene. Even tabloid newspapers avoided such terminology. When they wrote about the production, they used euphemisms, calling it a certain kind of play starring Mae West. The premiere in New York fell flat. Audiences from respectable society were hesitant to attend such a bold performance. Mae responded with a risky but brilliant move. She took the show on tour to New London, a port town filled with naval bases and young sailors. The gamble paid off. The sailors loved it, and word of the play quickly spread. By the time they returned to New York, the theater was packed. Sex became a full-blown sensation. Despite protests from morality advocates and threats of closure, the show ran to sold-out crowds for 11 straight months. It was already a commercial success, but real fame came with the scandal that broke during its first week. Police raided the theater and arrested the entire cast on charges of corrupting public morals. The courtroom drama turned into a spectacle of its own. Mae, fully in character, behaved boldly and confidently. She practically performed in court, mocking the prosecution's witnesses. The courtroom burst into laughter more than once, and at one point the judge had to clear the room. Despite her bravado, Mae, James Timoney, and the play's director were found guilty of corrupting the youth and sentenced to 10 days in jail. Even in women's prison, Mae refused to drop the act. When handed her prison uniform, she quipped that the outfit didn't suit her at all. She turned her time behind bars into yet another episode in her public performance. The scandal only fueled interest in the play. After the trial, ticket sales doubled. Mae West had no intention of slowing down after her release. Soon, she staged a new play, Diamond Lil. Set in 1890s New York on the infamous Bowery, the story unfolded in a world of pimps, prostitutes, street philosophers, and drunkards. The stage radiated a wild mix of depravity and fun, shocking and mesmerizing audiences in equal measure. The play became an instant hit, selling out night after night and running all the way until January 1929. Mae's character in Diamond Lil was deliberately over the top, voluptuous, draped in a golden wig with flowing blonde curls and bold makeup. She was a living caricature of society's greatest fear, a sexually empowered woman. One eyewitness of the time recalled feeling both repulsed and irresistibly drawn to her. The force of her stage presence was that powerful. In January 1929, Diamond Lil was moved to a Chicago stage. According to legend, it was there that Mae experienced one of the most notorious love affairs of her life. After Timoney left town, Mae expressed concern about her jewelry. After all, Chicago was known not just for its theaters, but also for its gangsters. She requested a bodyguard, a young actor from her troupe she'd had her eye on for some time. Their night shift together quickly turned into something much more passionate. By Mae's own account, things got started around 1 a.m. By 3 a.m., all 12 condoms they'd brought had been used, but they didn't stop. By 7 a.m., the number of encounters had reached 22. After a short rest and a late breakfast, they continued, with 4 more rounds. Amazed by his stamina, Mae would later describe this night as one of the most vivid in her life, calling it a testament to the power of desire and positive thinking. The early 1930s marked a time of transformation. Mae West decided to try her luck in Hollywood. She was already in her 40s, an age when most actresses saw their careers fade. But Mae was different. Her confidence, charisma, boldness, and inner strength made her a singular figure in American cinema. Her first screen appearance was brief but unforgettable. In Night After Night, she played a small role, but her scene stole the spotlight in every review. Her character walks into a nightclub adorned with lavish jewelry, instantly iconic, instantly Mae. Each subsequent film only solidified her star status. She not only acted in her movies, but also wrote the scripts. an extraordinary feat for a woman at that time. In I'm No Angel, a moment captured her fearlessness. When the lion tamer failed to perform, Mae boldly stepped into the cage herself. She later claimed the lions were captivated by her, so glittery, soft, and unusual that they responded with curious affection. She felt no fear. Her films practically saved Paramount Studios from bankruptcy. In just 2 years, they brought in over $1 million in profit, an astronomical sum for the time. Mae West became the highest-paid actress in Hollywood and earned the second highest income in the country, right after newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst. But with fame came backlash. More and more voices demanded a moral cleanup of the movie industry. It was Hearst himself who first urged Congress to intervene and put an end to what he called the indecent phenomenon of Mae West. Her stardom soon came under threat. Around 3 years after her Hollywood debut, a new wave of moral panic began. Activists demanded stricter censorship, especially from the Hays Office, the committee in charge of upholding morality in film. Mae became one of its earliest targets. Her name landed on the church's list of stars whose films were labeled box office poison. Everything she said on screen, playful, double-edged, provocative, outraged the Puritan press. Lines like, "I believe in love at first sight, but it saves a lot of time to look twice," or "Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?" sparked endless attacks. Calls to once and for all get rid of the witch grew louder. Newspapers ran confessions from women who claimed Mae West's films had inspired them to cheat on their husbands. Despite the censorship scissors, Mae West's films continued to attract audiences. Fans wrote her letters, asked bold questions, and shared their most intimate stories. In truth, America had no other trusted expert on sex quite like her. But the tightening of censorship quickly took its toll. Even the slightest innuendos were cut. Any line that could be read as suggestive was deleted entirely. Her films lost that signature Mae West flavor, the philosophy of pleasure and freedom that had made her beloved. Protests erupted with every premiere. Picket lines formed outside theaters, and Catholic groups shouted slogans beneath the posters, claiming that even the title of her film, It Ain't No Sin, was offensive to public morality. Disillusioned, Mae began to distance herself from Hollywood. She grew tired of playing by the rules, of taking orders and operating within limits. So she returned to the stage, where she had full creative control. There, she brought to life a long-held idea, a play titled Catherine Was Great, about the life of the Russian Empress. Naturally, Mae played the lead. She admired Catherine, powerful, sensual, unbound by the norms of her time. In the Empress, Mae saw a reflection of herself, a woman who combined strength, authority, and sexuality. After its premiere, the play toured several American cities with success. Mae believed her Catherine was a triumph, an image of a woman who possessed not only a body, but power. She saw it as almost prophetic, a mirror of her own nature. Even in later years, Mae continued to live on her own terms. She surrounded herself with young, athletic men and staged shows with provocative titles. One of them, I Like to Do It in the Daytime Because I Can't Stay Up All Night, perfectly captured her style. In this environment, she felt truly alive. One of her athletes later recalled that Mae needed physical affection daily, or she'd start to feel unwell. How many partners it took to keep her feeling good past age 60 is a mystery. But one thing is certain: her zest for life never faded. In the late 1950s, James Timoney, her most loyal companion and partner of over 45 years, passed away. But loneliness didn't last long. A new man entered her life, Paul Novak, a former Mr. Baltimore. More than 20 years younger, Paul became not only her lover but her devoted friend. He stayed by her side until the very end. By the 1960s, as the first winds of the sexual revolution swept across America, interest in Mae West surged once again. A new generation saw her as more than a former star. She was a symbol of what was to come. Her image appeared on the iconic cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. Her old films returned to festival screens. A record featuring her vocals climbed the music charts. And in 1970, she appeared in a film once more, Myra Breckinridge, playing a version of her younger self. In time, Mae West became part of American folklore, a near mythic figure. She talked about sex as something normal, joyful, and beautiful. She never claimed to have invented it, but proudly said she gave it a human face, one with humor, without shame, and without guilt. Her life philosophy, expressed in books and interviews, was simple: smoke less, drink less, and make love more. She called herself a constant sinner, with pride and a wink. Of course, she drew criticism. Not everyone agreed with her views, but on one point, she was absolutely right. When women take the crooked path, men inevitably follow.